What is good, everybody, and welcome to Between Frets, a space where female musicians meet and discuss all things music. I am Shorny Shorn Marshall, and yes, we're still quarantined in our own homes. Thank you, COVID-19. Ugh. But I hope everybody is at their homes, staying healthy and well, and practicing the stuff to prevent the crazy coronavirus. Big props to all the essential workers, such as the healthcare workers. Y'all are risking your lives to make sure that we decrease these cases of the coronavirus, and even though it's still spreading, y'all still working hard to try to lower down those numbers, and we appreciate your work and services. Even all the public safety, police officers, ambulance, risking your lives out there. Big props. Let's see, today, typical day, but even though we can't leave the house, I'm still going to try to look good for it. We've been doing a lot of things, trying to come up with some ideas during the quarantine and coming more ideas to be more active in our social media pages. So make sure you follow us on our social media at Fret Sisters on Instagram, and like our page in Fret Sisters, and we probably will give you some more updates and more posts that we can give, especially during the time of quarantine. We have a couple videos that we posted on our personal pages. We're going to put those in our pages as well, so y'all can take a look at it. For me, I just recently posted a little guitar cover of my idol, Tina Marie, Portuguese Love, and already I've been getting like a bunch of shares and big comments and response on this one. So I will definitely post that in page on our IGTV, because it's also in my IGTV, and I will post that in there, and also our Facebook account, so everybody can see. And also Jenny Jam did a video of Michael Jackson Off the Wall, working on her funk wrist, because she is like very specialized in funk guitar. Like, I love her techniques on that, because I'm still working on my techniques. But make sure you also support us by checking out our merch store. We have t-shirts from our Fret Sister brand, and also our podcast. Like t-shirts, we got blankets, we got socks, we got hoodies and jackets and bags. So make sure you check it out. Support us. Every little bit counts. We do appreciate y'all listening and stuff like that. But make sure you check out all the other episodes here on our podcasts from season 1 to give you catch up and stuff like that. And I'm just gonna stop all the rambling up in here. And when we come back, I will be talking to multi-instrumentalist Abby Posner. Stay tuned. And we are back. Our guest today is a Cal Arts grad who composed music for commercials, television, films, and radio. She also scored 3 films while gigging and touring with her own band. She appeared in 2 episodes of Glee on season 4, one of my favorite shows, playing banjo and guitar. She is best known for her ability to play nearly any instrument that she can lay her hands on. Please welcome multi-instrumentalist Abby Posner. Hello, Abby. How are you?
Hi there. Thanks for having me.
Well, on behalf of the Fret Sisters, I'd like to thank you for joining in with us. And I know we are musicians and we are just stuck at home.
Yeah, I mean, I've got nothing else to do, but this is probably what I'd be doing anyway. So,
so let's get right to this. What is your earliest memory of music? Like, when did you first started falling in love with music, or did you just came from a musical family?
Well, it's funny. I actually have a video of myself as like a young kid when I was about 2, looking up at the camera my dad was filming, and he was playing Bob Dylan on the stereo. And I looked up at him. I could talk a little bit, like little bit of this, a little bit of that, but I was really, really young. And I just looked up at him and I went, Bob Dylan. And and I feel like I can remember just really resonating with music because it was always on in the house, and just feeling really comforted by it and feeling like it was a really familiar language. And so that's my earliest memory. My parents are not musicians per se, but I would like to say that my dad is a huge music historian. He knows everything there is to know about like blues and soul and gospel and music from the South. And he really taught me a lot about just music appreciation. So
that's good to have someone in the family that actually give you the story behind this type of music and why we appreciate it, and how some of those music back then infuses to the music today.
Of course. I mean, it's, where would we be without gospel? You know, where would we be without soul and the blues? I mean, it would just be a very sad world.
So you play both the guitar and the banjo. Which instrument did you start playing first?
So I started with piano when I was about 6, and then I moved my way to guitar and drums and bass and a bunch of other instruments. I think I learned banjo right in the middle of college in the early 2000s. And I've been playing guitar since I was about 9. So I just have been very non-committal and polyamorous when it comes to instruments. I've just wanted to like learn everything.
And when did you start beginning like singing?
I started singing lessons around the same time I started taking piano. I was maybe about 5 or 6.
So do you have any like musical influences that got you to the style of music that you are playing now?
That's a good question. I really like a lot of different styles. I listen to almost everything. I'm not the biggest fan of, pop country, alternative country, but I still appreciate it for what it is. So I'd say my biggest influences in terms of artists are probably Andrew Bird is one of my favorite songwriters of all time. I would say Shaky Graves and The Tallest Man on Earth. A lot of the kind of indie new folk people. Chris Thiele is one of my idols. I just love him so much. So I would say those are my main influences in terms of artists. I'm also really influenced by folk and bluegrass and rock and punk and kind of the whole gamut.
Oh, that's awesome. So can you tell us about your first gig experience?
Oh my gosh. Wow. That was a long time ago. I have to dig into my mind. Let me see. My first gig was probably around the time that I was 14. I'm 36 now, so that was a while ago. I remember playing, I'm from Colorado originally, and went to high school and middle school in Denver. And I remember playing at open mics when I was about 14 in Denver, and playing at Angie's Coffee Shop. That's my first memory, is Angie's Coffee Shop, 1997. Yeah,
that's a long time.
That's a long time. It doesn't even feel like the 90s existed at this point. It's so far away. It's like, that's oldies music now, It's like all the music of the 90s is like, that's the oldies now.
Yeah, I missed those years.
Those were good years.
Yeah.
Simple years. Corona-free years.
Yep. So you just recently have a project called The Return. Can you tell us a little bit behind that project?
Yeah, so this is an exclusive Bandcamp release. I decided to be really intentional about this release and not put it out on all the streaming networks for now, just because Spotify and Apple Music, mostly Spotify, has been very, very, what's the word? Just crappy to artists. They they have not been paying songwriters what they're worth. And there's a big lawsuit going on right now between artists and Spotify. And I just decided to go with a platform online that was more artist friendly, and Bandcamp is, as well as CD Baby, they're very artist friendly. They still take a percentage of sales, but it's not nearly as much as Spotify. So the record is just me on piano and singing, kind of returning back to my first instrument, and playing with a string trio behind me. The whole record is recorded live. And the string trio is called Queertet. It's all queer people.
Wow. Great support of the LGBT community.
Yeah, I mean, those are my people, and I wanted to collaborate with queer people for a very long time. Most of my life I played with a lot of men, and I love men, and they're great musicians, but I thought, this is such a record about returning back to myself and returning back to parts of myself, and my queerness is very much a part of who I am as an artist, and I wanted to, honor that.
Yeah, probably once I get done with this interview, I'm going to hear one of your songs called Cooking Wine, because it's kind of catching my attention right now, Cooking Wine.
Yes. So you know what? That's actually the only song on the record that's a cover. And it's a cover by one of my favorite punk bands that I used to listen to in high school called Alkaline Trio. And I just completely took the song, flipped it, made it, not a punk song, but made it like kind of haunting. Like I said, every song on the record is kind of about an older, younger part of myself. So that's why I decided to cover that song. It's a beautiful song written by Matt Skiba.
And you have a band called The Myth. How did y'all came up with that name?
Yeah, so it's Abby and the Myth. And I've really been into... I took a Greek mythology class when I was younger. I'm really into Joseph Campbell and power of myth, and kind of, I just love mythology and stories, and I feel like that's just so deeply woven in folk music. Metaphorical images about like these monsters that maybe are all, that we all have monsters within us. I feel like Greek mythology is so much a part of our everyday without us even knowing. And so that's part of why I wanted to name it that.
Well, we're going to have this next question is going to be a fun question for us, say. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself off the stage? Like, what did you love to enjoy when you're not doing music or anything like that?
So when I'm not quarantined, when I'm not inside, I really love to just spend time with the people in my life. It's funny, I'm like a social introvert. I like to create and be alone and, spend time in my studio, but I also love to just connect with people and be with people at concerts and go to dinner. I love going out for drinks and just laughing, and I love playing games and just being silly and playful. I feel like a lot of adults, when they get older and older, they lose their sense of play. And so, yeah, I just like being really goofy and silly and enjoying time with my friends.
Well, that's great. Well, you, according to your bio, that you actually appeared in 2 episodes of one of my favorite shows, Glee. How did you got that opportunity to appear at such a popular show?
Well, that was a really wonderful opportunity. And I feel really, really blessed to have, these opportunities in LA, and kind of being connected with different people in the industry has been so amazing. I would have never gotten that gig had it not been through like a word of mouth situation. I played with this one bassist for a gig, and then I collaborated with this other guitar player, and then, they were on Glee, and then they passed my info along to the musical casting director. And now I have a long-standing relationship with her, and I've done, several different things with her. And I think it's just about cultivating relationships, and being your authentic self is really the way that I feel like anybody gets gigs. Hopefully it's like, just, hey, this person's really talented, really fun and cool. You should work with them. And I was lucky to have, people in my corner.
And yeah, I actually had to look back in my mind, because I think I remember seeing you on that show.
That's funny. It was really brief.
Yeah, see your little short cameo with the camera was supposed to be pointing to the singer, but you actually see a little bit of you behind her.
Totally. I stole the spotlight from Leah Michelle. What can I say?
And I was like, oh my God, that was her.
Yeah, that was totally me. Yeah, it was fun because it was like we weren't the main focus, obviously. You know, we're in the band. It was for the song Torn, and I was playing guitar for that, and then it was for the song Baby Got Back, and I was playing banjo for that.
Oh my God, I remember seeing that one.
And yeah, that one was so fun. That was probably my favorite shoot because it was just a bunch of people dancing in an auditorium, and it was just a really great day. It was really cool.
Well, us Fret sisters, we are a bunch of gearheads, I would say.
Nice. I love it.
So can you tell us a little bit about your go-to rig?
Yeah, definitely. I will. I mean, you'll have to stop me from talking too long because I could go on and on for hours.
Hey, go ahead.
So my go-to situation is I have a pedal board that I, put together myself, and I do a lot of looping with my Boss looper, my RC30. I also have, my OCD, the go-to pedal there. I have the freeze pedal, which freezes chords. And I have a wah. So I have this fun pedal board that I use that usually goes into my acoustic chorus AC60. And the reason I use the acoustic one is because I like to switch out between electric, banjo, mandolin really quickly through my pedal board, and it's just an all-around Swiss Army amp. It can sound electric, it can sound acoustic. It's just fantastic. My guitars that I use, my main baby is my Gibson SD, my Songwriter Deluxe. That's probably the main guitar I use. And then I have a Gretsch electric that I play. I have an Epiphone mandolin. And then I have this beautiful banjo that I found at a used music store that is completely Frankenstein together of different parts.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a lot of schlepping. It's a lot of carrying.
Well, can you tell anyone an advice for other artists that is coming up on how to navigate in this music business, especially us as women that's dealing with this?
That's a really, really good question and a really important one. I think it comes back to being your true self. I think, there have been many, many years that I felt really defeated by the industry as a queer female. And I do feel like things are shifting and it's more acceptable, if not more exciting, for diversity, for queer people, for people of color. I think that the industry is slowly starting to be more aware of these artists, these really incredibly talented artists that are on the outside. And I think what it is just not being afraid to be your true your true weirdo. Unlock the door to the true weirdo. That's what I say.
Yay.
Yeah.
to the freaks, the weirdos, the uniqueness unicorns, I will say.
Yes. Cheers to that, dude. Cheers. I'll drink to that.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a quick drink on that one too.
Yes.
Well, can you tell everybody where they can follow you on social media?
Yeah, so you can follow me at Abby Posner Music. It's actually Abby Posner Official on Instagram. And also Abby Posner Music on Twitter, Abby Posner Music on Facebook. Mostly if you just go to Abby Posner or abbyandthemyth.com, it'll lead you to all the social networks. So I would do that. And then all my music is on the website, on Bandcamp, Spotify, all of that.
Well, thank you so much for joining in with us. We really appreciate you, especially with the quarantine, the coronavirus, going on. Yes, it was like that. It's a so scary word.
But it is a scary word. It sounds like a cobra snake or something.
Oh God, I like snakes too. Well, there you have it, ladies and gents. I'd like to thank Abby Posner for joining in with us and giving her a little bit story to get to know her as an artist, and finally remember seeing her on that episode with the Baby Got Back episode.
So funny. Yeah, you can see me way in the background. It's awesome. You can just see me holding a little tiny banjo in the very back of that. If you look it up on YouTube, Baby Got Back Glee.
Yeah, well, we will put that in the show notes. You're gonna see that and just see everybody is like, oh, she's on the Glee. Baby Got Back.
Awesome.
Well, I'm Shorny Shorn Marshall, and thank you guys for listening, and hope to see you on the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, Riff Girl, what's our riff today? Let's give a little something what you're about to play. Hey!
If you want to learn more about this lick, hit us up on Facebook or Instagram at Fret Sisters, or email us at fretsistersmusic@gmail.com. Peace and love.